Hey everybody, this is Brandon, and this is Just a Guy Loving Life. Now on this show, we take off and meet cool people with cool hobbies and interesting collections. Today, we're gonna meet Craig Nugent. Craig plays golf. If you wanna know more about golf, the best thing to do is ask a know-it-all.
Golf was invented in Scotland in the 15th century. Golf usually has 18 holes. The average golf course is 120 acres.
Now that we know a little more about golf, it's time to meet someone who actually plays the sport. So let's hit the road! Hey everybody, I'm right here with my good buddy, Craig Nugent. Mr. Nugent has been playing golf for quite a while. Now, we came to ask him stuff about the sport that he absolutely loves, so I'm going to kick it off with right off the bat. How did you get into playing golf?
Well, I was probably about 7 or 8 years of age. My mom and dad, they're the ones that actually got me involved in playing golf. Dad actually had owned a driving range over in Orange, and I began to learn to hit a golf ball there. But when I really got to where I could hit the ball well was whenever Mr. Bill Stark, who was the pro at Sunset Grove Country Club, came out to the driving range one evening and taught me how to hit the golf ball. That right there got me involved in wanting to learn to play golf and to do the best I could. So I've been playing probably since about 7 or 8 years of age.
That's pretty young.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to start off, what kind of club, because you play with clubs, what kind of club set would you recommend for a young person to start off with?
Well, I would look at getting a starter set, something similar to this right here. All you need is just like what they call a long iron, which is like a 5 or 6 iron, maybe a 9 iron, pitching wedge, a putter when you get on the green, just put the ball in, and then what they call is a driver, which is used off the tee box. So that's all an individual needs to start with, so to learn to play the game a little bit better, and they can progress as they get older.
Okay, I mean, there's a lot of sports that a kid can grow up playing. Tell me a real good reason why golf is a good sport for a young person to learn.
Well, the biggest thing, in my opinion, for golf is that it's a sport that you can play throughout your entire life. I mean, I know of people that play golf today into their 70s, 80s, and even 90s. And so it's a sport that once you learn to play, whether you play it really well or you play it really bad, it doesn't make any difference. It's an individual sport where an individual can have fun in trying to overcome an obstacle, trying to hit a little ball off the ground and make it go where they want it to go. So it's an opportunity for them to play for their lifetime.
In a nutshell, correct me if I'm wrong, when you play golf, you want to hit the ball in the hole just like in putt-putt, and it seems like the person with the lowest score wins.
That's correct.
How does that work?
Well, you have a hole each on a golf course. It said you're supposed to be able to make that hole and that ball in the hole in either 3, 4, or 5 strokes, depending upon the length of that hole.
And a stroke is a hit.
A stroke is hit. So in the rules of golf, there's quite a few rules you need to learn because it can add to your game the strokes you have depending on what happens. Hit the ball in the water, becomes an extra stroke that you have to add to your score. So if you hit it off into the woods and you lose the ball, that's another extra stroke that you have to add to your score.
So basically, the better you do, the lower the number.
That's correct.
So the one with the lowest number wins.
That's right. This is not a game where you want high numbers, you want low numbers.
This is totally contrary to the rest of the sports that people play, and I think that's really cool. Now, I could ask you all kinds of stuff about golf, and like you said, there's a whole lot to learn. And I could follow you around with a camera all day and have you explain it, but I'll be honest with you, that is a lot to take in the time that we have. So I thought that I would ask you if you would show us how to hit the ball. We run by all the time and we see people hitting the golf ball off into the green, and it looks easy. And there it goes. But I've got a sneaky suspicion that there's a lot more to it than that.
There is. There's a lot to it. You can either make the ball go straight, make the ball curve to the right, make the ball curve to the left. It all depends on how you learn to hit the golf ball, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's a game that you have to learn and take with. But I would highly recommend, if you start out in the game and you enjoy doing this, go and seek out a professional golf member who's a PGA Pro, Professional Golf Association, at one of your local golf courses over there, and then get you some individualized golf course lessons so that you can learn to hit the ball better. They're the ones that's really suited and have the experience and knowledge to be able to teach you how to play the game so you'll be able to enjoy it for the rest of your life.
Oh, that is fantastic. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like you to hit one for us.
Okay.
You'll show us the right way to do that.
Well, I'll try.
Okay, fantastic. Let's get at it.
All right. Okay, now your clubs normally are from like a 3-iron up to like a 9-iron, a pitching wedge. The higher number your club is, the farther the ball should travel when you hit with that club. The higher number club you have more loft on the club, therefore you're going to hit at a shorter distance. And that's the distance when you have to figure out for yourself how far you can hit each of those clubs to know which one that you want to hit at what time, depending upon your distance from your target. The second thing I'd like to address is the alignment. The alignment is the direction you're wanting the ball to go after you make contact with it. So what you do is, let's say if I wanted to aim toward that red flag down there, okay? And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to stand here and address the ball. This is what's called addressing the ball, get like I'm getting ready to hit it. But then just stand straight up, look over your left shoulder, don't turn, but just stand straight up and look straight over your left shoulder and see if you're in line with where you're wanting to hit the ball. The other thing you can do to make sure you're aligned, lay the club across the front of your toes. Then come behind the club and look and see in that line, is that where you're wanting the ball to go? If it is, go ahead and get back to the club, put your toes back where you had them, and then go ahead and address your ball, and then you can hit the ball from there. But the alignment is very critical, making sure you know where you want the ball to go, okay? What I'd like to cover now is the two types of grips to hold a golf club. One is what they call the overlapping, is which I use because I feel like it's a stronger grip. I can have my hands a little closer together and make them more one. So you take the left hand, this V here is going to point to your right shoulder on the club. And then you just interlock or put your little finger here in between the two and then wrap your hand around this way. That's what's called the overlapping grip. The interlocking grip is to where you take your little finger and your index finger, the opposite hands, and interlock those two together around the club, and then go ahead and wrap your fingers on around the club as such. Either one is sufficient. It just depends on what feels comfortable to the individual and what you feel like is a stronger grip for you. Okay, now we're going to talk about positioning of the ball in your stance depending upon which club you're going to use. The lower number club you use, you play the ball in your stance toward the front of your stance. The higher number club, such as the 7 I have, you're going to play it more toward the back of your stance, okay? So if you were to take a 5-iron, as a general rule, play it totally in the middle of your stance. As you go lower in numbers, you're going to move that ball toward the front, in other words, toward your target. A right-handed golfer would be to their left side. A left-handed golfer would be to their right side. A higher number club is going to give you more loft, so you're going to play it a little further back in your stance. From a 5-iron, then you move it back from the middle a couple of spots, a couple of inches maybe back toward your right foot for a right-handed golfer, your left foot for a left-handed golfer. Golf for me is an opportunity to get out in this world our good Lord has made for us to be able to enjoy these great courses across this country. It's an individual sport. It's one thing you can't do is you cannot blame the equipment for what goes wrong. It's all individual itself. Get you an opportunity, find you a golf professional somewhere in your locale, learn how to play the game because it's a course that you can play for the rest of your life. You'll really enjoy the game. It can be frustrating at times, then it can be just wonderful at times, depending upon that particular day, how well you're doing. Learn the game. You'll have a good time enjoying the opportunity that this country provides to us for that. So get your clubs, see a professional, and start playing golf. You'll enjoy it.
Thank you, Mr. Nugent, so much for showing us a little bit of the game. That's all we have this week, so it's time for the one last thing that we're going to do every week. It's time for the skill shot of the week. Skill shot!